It's really fabulous when we're out traveling and we are able to take a little side trip to see something else along the way. I'm Pat Sloan. Welcome to my neighborhood. I'm so glad you're here for my fireside chat. So we were teaching at the Berry Basket Quilters in, I think it's Medford, New Jersey. So that was a lot of fun. And New Jersey is not that far from Virginia, although with the metro traffic between us and them, it takes quite a while to get there because we are very heavily populated areas between. But when we were all done, I also have to tell you, remember I had last week, one of the questions was what are my favorite foods, and I was talking about a couple different things, and one of them was like, oh, whenever I go out, I love to get, if I can, I get scallops because I really love scallops. And we had a wonderful quilter, and I forget your name, but she brought me a snack of scallops. It's like so nice. Quilters are amazing. So on our way back, we decided that we would take the long way home so we could stop in and visit my mother-in-law in Pennsylvania. And then before we came back south to Virginia, and in between the locations is the Strasburg, Pennsylvania, and there's a museum, a train museum there. One of the neat things about that museum is that it has not only just the great trains, the train museum part, which is a Smithsonian associate, but then there's also train rides right across the street. I think they're two different organizations. And the part that has the train rides also has a tower, a small tower, and that tower is super special to both Greg and I because it was the tower that was on the tracks that were literally right behind Greg's home when he was growing up. His home was on the railroad track. It was the house, the yard, an alley, and the railroad track. And that tower was also the tower that my great-grandfather, my mom's grandfather, her mother's father, worked in. So my dada worked in that station and worked in that tower, and they moved the tower quite a few years ago now, and they put it over in Strasburg, Pennsylvania. And the last time we were there was about 5 years ago. The tower was looking pretty sad. It needed painted. It looked like nobody had taken care of it yet, and they had this time, so it was all painted and it looked really good. And so I sent a picture out to my mom, and she was all excited to see it. So hey mom, if you're watching, she watched last time. Hi. My mom doesn't quilt, but you know, she does know other things. So so that was one of the things that we did. The other, which was kind of fun, is when you stay at hotels often, we were staying at a Hampton Inn. When you go to the Hampton Inns, they started this a couple years back, but they have a little cubicle like on the counter the desk when you check in, the counter when you check in. And often if they have something, there'll be what they call it a local food, like a food that is either produced, a snack, produced in their town, if possible, or nearby, or their state. So this time I got Lorna Doones because they are manufactured in East Hanover, New Jersey. So I love Lorna Doones. They're really good. Okay, so sometimes funny stuff happens when the shipping department and I sit around. That's Greg, shipping department. In case you didn't know, when we're sitting around, like we'll have a word, and we were talking about peanut butter, and he's like, well, I like that marshmallow and peanut butter together, and I'm like, yeah, that's a Fluffernutter sandwich. And he looked at me like I had two heads, not one but two. And I'm like, you never heard of that word? And he's like, no. So if you've not heard of Fluffernutter sandwiches, if you go look them up, the idea of putting peanut butter, marshmallow fluff in a sandwich together versus like peanut butter and jelly has been around since World War I. And in the 1960s, this is what I looked up this morning. This is what I did for entertainment this morning. So in the 1960s, they didn't have a fun name for this sandwich, so they went out, some marketing company or the manufacturer of marshmallow fluff came up with the name Fluffernutter. So tell me in the comments, do you know what a Fluffernutter is? Is this the first time you're hearing it? Have you eaten one? Do you like them? They're okay. They're pretty sweet. I don't buy marshmallow fluff too often, but I used to put them on Ritz crackers. Fluff and Ritz crackers. That was good. All right. So what I've been doing here in the quilting world? Well, there's a bunch of stuff I'm doing for upcoming projects, and then also I was gone for a segment of the week. So, of course, had to have our flower bouquet. Da, 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 da. So you've seen the pictures of it. I'll link to it. But here it is all together. And our block was the spacer. Where is it? Oh, here it is. The spacer unit this week, right? The two smaller ones, which I just love this peach plaid so much. I just love this plaid. I don't know why. I just think it's super cool. I had to buy some more just because I thought, I like it. I might use this somewhere else. So I've got my rolling assistant here. See the cart? So I can sort of stack this stuff up here as I'm going along. Another thing that I worked on and I'm working on is we only have four more blocks for the Christmas fig. So this is the book, the Christmas fig book, and I have the red and white one. I've been showing you a picture of both of them, but I've been doing any tips and things from the blue and white because that one is not exactly like what's in the book. And I'm going to show you here. Let me lift up. See on my design wall, I have up. This is a firm handle on here. See, I have the Christmas fig, the blue one up there. So what I have is the next block, which is called, I think it's called like Peppermints. But the coloring, I want to show you this. So here it is. That is the block. And the peppermints for this color, for the red and green colorway, is pretty open. They really look more like pinwheels rather than peppermints. So I want to show you what I am doing here for the block, for the blue and white, because I think I want to have them look actually more like circles when they're done, so you could see them. And I'm doing, because this is all blue and white quilt, so we're having blue peppermints. I don't know what flavor that is. When I was a kid, anything blue was sky blue. My brother loved sky blue popsicles. His mouth would always be bright blue when he was done. So these are all set. And I want to show you, I'll do a little sewing on it because, let's see here, sorry about that. Hand in the camera. There we go. If I'm going to take these two and sort of sew them at the same time, here we go. So I would be sewing stacks. That's what I have, all these stacks. So this will be one peppermint when it's done. And I will do a chain piecing. I will take these two right sides together, and I have them with the seam allowances pressed to the darker side, so that when the dark sides are opposite for the pinwheel, so they just nest together. Let me just pull that back. So you can see that they're nesting together really nicely, so that when I go to sew it, I just bank them up to each other. And when you're picking these things up and laying them down, be sure that you don't twist them like I just did. So there we go. I have to rotate it there. Don't, double check it, because otherwise you're sewing them the wrong direction and it's pretty annoying. So then you have to unsew with Jack the Ripper, our friend Jack. So here we go. So if I'm doing a whole chain piecing of these, then I would take the next two, and this would be nestled again right in there. Now I've also, if you will look, I've also chopped off the dog ears. Let's see, do you know what I mean? Like they would have like these little triangles stick out. I've cut those off because if I don't cut those off, what I find is that they will often sort of suck into the feed dogs if they're still there, which is quite annoying. They get jammed up. And I'm using an edge foot when I'm sewing, so I figured, why not? Now, this takes, I forget how many pinwheels, but after this, then the pinwheels will have corner units sewn onto them. I have one pinwheel back here. And I also have a block from the Perfect 10 book This is the one, remember the orange with Betty's Luncheonette? I think I'm just going to call the quilt, it's called the Coffee Quilt is the pattern. And it's Betty's Luncheonette, so that's like totally perfect. So this is, you know, something I'm starting and stopping with. So here we go. Let me get where we can see it. Sorry. There we go. So if I have these two things, I would have one pressed one direction. I'm just going to finger press it. So I'm just finger pressing it so I can sew it. So this seam is this way. And I want to press the other seam the other way. And then now I can sew the two pinwheels, the two halves of the pinwheel together. Now you can do all kinds of wonderful things to make this line up. My biggest tip, also there's a little connector in there. Sometimes I will you know, cut it off because it can get stuck on my edge foot over here. So my goal here is to sew right through that line, you know, where the point is, so I don't chop the point off. So I want to put my guide on, and I will turn it on and put it on green. There we go. So now I've got my guide beam on, and let's see, get in a little bit closer. There you go. Of course, not always my left hand. It has to be holding this. So my guide beam, I want to come right through that point, and that's where I'm aiming it. And this machine, my Solaris, Baby Lock Solaris, has two guide beams. So I could turn the other one, the far right one, off if I wanted to. And now I have the bottom of this pinwheel because of the previous pinwheel, because I didn't do them at the same time. See, here's one of these tails. I forgot to trim it. So what I would do, I must have missed that one. See it? Let me get it over on the white. Yeah, see there? So I trim those off. I can do them, and if I'm using the Gemini die cut, I don't have those. But when I cut another way, I do. Okay, so now I can get the other block out of here, and you can see what that looked like. And it's a pinwheel. So this pinwheel now, when I'm working on, get it over here. When I'm working with the pattern, these little guys, these little squares here, will come over here and create these peppermint units. See, now it makes this sort of this chopped off look. That's what'll go on after all the pinwheels are done. Then you get the other way. Okay. So that's a Christmas fig, a little sewing on the Christmas fig, the peppermint block. It's really a cute block. And in the book, she has, where's the book? There's a whole quilt done of this one, which I think is gorgeous. I just think that is absolutely stunning. And I like it in the whole quilt, sort of floaty like that, where they don't look like circles. Do you see the difference? They don't look like circles like mine will. So once I have some done, I'll post them on Facebook. And you get, what size is this? That's a lap size is what the pattern has for in the book. So the other thing that I worked on, which was Betty's Luncheonette. Let me show you what I have going on. I have this, see, I have these satchels, these clear things that I use all the time for my organization. And in here, what I did was I put one of the little design boards on top of the blocks. That way it's really tidy. Actually, I'd like to have a second one so that I could take this stack, because I've got all of the corners and I've got the last group of them organized. And then I have the one that I'm sewing. So like this has to go here because I just finished that as a start and finish to what I'm doing. And here's the rest of them for that block. So the blocks, ta-da, here they are. It's so exciting. So they're like in, you know, doubles. Like here's the blue in the middle. Oh, then there's the one with the blue on the outside. Here's the pink and the gray. Yeah, they're just so much fun. So I have almost all of them done. And I'm going to do a border of, and I'm going to set them side by side. And I have like this gray like for an inner border, and then a small skinny inner border. It's the old gray that I have. And then I have this for the outer border. So that is where I'm going with this project. So I'm pretty excited. Pretty excited because that went so fast. I mean, incredibly fast. That I love doing it while I'm sewing other things, because I have a lot of things coming up that I'll be sewing other things. And so what I want to do is pick the next one. Let me get this out of here, because remember I showed you Harry and Alice with the yellow fabric? Remember this guy? Remember Harry and Alice with the yellow fabric? Because it has all of these great sort of Americana prints. Navy, deep navy, and it's got the reds, and there's, what's it, polka dot, yes, yeah, polka dots. So a little floral. So Harry and Alice, there's also a new Harry and Alice coming out, which is really nice. And it has anchors, I think, and stuff. It's just a little different, but super similar. So I want to do another quilt from here. And I'm using the ruler that comes with it, because one of the nice things is that it's all lined up, and the pattern tells you, you know, what sections to cut if you're going to use the ruler. It tells you both ways, with or without the ruler. But the ruler, I find sometimes using a ruler made for a particular purpose is more effective. It's quicker. It's the actual size of the 10 inches, so it goes right on top, and then you just slide it and use it. It's fabulous. So here are all the names. Oh my gosh, they are so fun. They're like, isn't it perfect? I did Betty's Luncheonette with this book, because all of these names are sort of fun. I guess they're desserts. There's the lemon sorbet, the French vanilla, maybe there's their birthday cake, banana quilt, Neapolitan. Who likes that? That's the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. As a kid, I always thought that was strange, because I left the strawberry. I'm like, I don't want strawberry. So I'm trying to decide what would be a fun one that would not take a tremendous amount of time, but would show off the quilt, show off the fabric, because I like doing these simpler ones when I'm doing this. I'm trying to find one that's simpler. So this is kind of a neat block, because you have a lot of space for the bigger, you know, for the bigger stuff. See? So it shows it off. I don't know if I like that block in itself. I'm trying to decide that. So anyways, that is one. If you have the book, tell me which one you would do, you know. Group decisions. So I just heard my coffee maker. I think I forgot to turn it off. I guess I better do that then, huh? It'll probably tell me it's not turned off. So I got obsessed. This other thing that came in this week. I got obsessed, totally obsessed with this this kit with my fabrics from my friend Sandy Klopp of American Jane. It is so cute. Here is the pattern. So you can buy just the pattern, or you can get the kit, and the kit has a bundle of fabric and a little mini charm. And then this is a layer cake of everything that's needed. So it's got everything in there, and it's called February Favorites. I have to read in there to see why she called it that. But I think I might do, like, there's not a lot of applique on there, so it's if you've never done applique, this is a perfect one to try. They're nice big shapes. And then I might just have to do the flag and the vine first, you know. They're just so neat. This, you know, like, I don't need to be doing this, right? But I'm going to, because it's more fun this way. Life is more fun. It's more fun to do stuff than to just think about stuff. That's my philosophy anyways. The other thing I have As a couple books came in, and so I want to just show you a couple of them. So this is Countdown to Christmas by Susan Aki, and Susan is an amazing designer. If you follow her on Instagram, that's where she lives. That's where she does all her sharing. She's prolific. She makes things all the time. Super cute. There's a super cute wreath. But her way of creating is just incredible. So, and then she uses these very soft colors, and they're scrappy. So if they're controlled scrappy, but if you love scrappy, look here. Look at that. So this is Countdown to Christmas, which I'll link you up to that. I don't know, I might have to do that tree. That tree is just incredible. I might have to collect fabrics in these colors. Like I have some like this. I actually have a lot of those colors of green. Another one I got in was from my friend Gail Pan. So if you love embroidery, Gail has darling embroideries. Look at these. These are so cute. These little banners are just darling. Look. I have to give you a close up. Look. I just couldn't get over it. They are just so, I love the birthday one. Isn't that fun? Do you do something for the birthday? Do you put out like a special table runner, something like that? Here's the Easter one. Just, now there are other things besides the banners, let me find. She has this cute little house, and then it has like the down below part is, it's like three-dimensional. That comes off. That's its own little embroidery, and then you can change it out. So here's the concept, which is just super cute. Gail's a good friend of mine. She's Australian. She just does really cute things. Okay, so this week, one of the things I've been thinking about is, the next Wednesday block. Block Wednesday. I think I'm going to call it Black Wednesday. It sounds like one of those old time TV shows, right? I forget how they go, but hurry, Block Wednesday. So we have 5 more blocks for the flower bouquet, and then we'll take a couple of week break just so that I can regroup. Plus, about that time, I have a lot of things going on, including the trade show and some new stuff that you'll be seeing pretty soon. And then we'll start up again, and I'll have a new theme. And so for the summer, I'm thinking of doing something less than 20 weeks, maybe like a 15-week, and doing super simple. And I might toss in a bit of really easy applique. We'll see. And so I'm thinking about themes, but I really want it simple. Like Black Wednesday is always simple anyways, but for the summer, I want it really simple, just like super basic. Maybe I'll even do like 9-inch blocks, a little smaller block. But I'm looking at fabrics. And so one of the fabrics that I recently got in was this one called the General Store. And it's like the name General Store just got me. It's got these plaids. It's sort of a more vibrant 30s feel. Here's the floral on the top. But it's got an Americana feel, which I love. It has this really cool stripe, but it has neat scale of prints. So they're not all, they're not all teeny tiny. So I'm thinking the drawing room, and you can let me know if you like that style of fabric. I'm just thinking it's summer, easy. You can use any fabric. What I'll probably do is show you a couple different bundles that would be fun to play with, and then you can pick the kind that you like. There's another one I spotted that has some purples and golds that I will show you. So that is pretty much where I'm thinking for Block Wednesday is something super simple, because that's the whole goal, is on Wednesdays to have something fun and easy. You can either use something new or use up your scraps. That's the whole idea of just sewing weekly, because if you sew weekly, it motivates you. It gets you excited, at least gets me excited to keep doing things, you know, that. And I always just make them as I go along. I really don't do a lot of advanced planning, just a little bit for Block Wednesday, and then I sort of build it up as I get it started. So it's fun for me as well as you, I hope, since a lot of you play along. It's neat to go see, like, what am I going to sew? What am I going to sew for this week? I love it. I love it. It's been just amazing to see all of your things. Okay, some thoughts. One of the things, two things, because then we have a giveaway this week again, and I want to announce the winner from last week. But one is I was thinking about goal setting. I heard somebody mention that, I don't even know where, but it's stuck in my head, that setting goals for ourselves. And I thought, okay, I do that, but lately my goal setting has been focused around deadlines. You know, what's the deadlines versus something a little different, which would be, I have a goal to sew 10 minutes a day, you know, at least 10 minutes a day. You know, that's not mandatory to you know, do not only, but at least 10 minutes a day. Or another goal might be, I want to finish this one stitchery by the end of the month, which is sort of a deadline, but in a way it's a little bit different because you're doing it just for yourself. Or goal might be, I'm going to stretch every day. That's my current goal, which I'm not so good at every day, but I'm trying, you know, just start stretching and being healthy and walking. So that's a goal. Or you might have, I need to drink more water, or I need to get up more often. We sit when we create. So I need to get up and move around and not be sitting so much in my chair, you know. Basically, I read a thing that said it's better if you get up like every hour. So, you know, some of those timer things, you could just like bing you, like every hour, get up and move around. So I'm trying to think about goals. So remember that, because that's going to be what we talk about here at the very end for the question of the week. So we have the question, the question of the week will be related to goals. So get thinking. Last week's question was all about how is quilting part of your, how do you use it as therapy is really, you know, how do you feel about quilting? How does it affect you? How do you handle it to help you reduce stress or just to create joy? And the comments have been awesome, just awesome. Now, I had the Fireside chat on my blog now, and I actually will need to put a link up at the top so you can find it. It's down on the right side. But people have written like they have maybe a health issue so they don't get out as much. And quilting is their connection to their own creativity and their connection to other people via being online with all of us, which I think is true for many of us, is that you can sew in a solo manner, you know, by yourself, but you love to show somebody what you did, or you have a question, and you don't necessarily need to have hauled everything to an in-person event. You can just pop online to my Quilting Neighborhood Facebook, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, and just ask your question. You know, a couple people talked about how they have very, very stressful jobs. You know, they might be nurses, or one is a nurse and her husband's a firefighter. So, you know, they really need the relaxation time. They need time to wind down and get into what they're, you know, get into something else, get their heads into something else. People have helped sewn to create things for joy, to create things to get through sad periods. You know, so it's just been, you know, if you haven't read it, I'll link up so that you can go and read some of the comments, because it's very uplifting and it makes us a better neighborhood and a better community because we understand each other. We all feel really similar. You know, like one Fran here says, quilting for me is a way to connect with others who love this tradition. And for many, it is carrying on a tradition. I've had people want to join my group all the time that say, oh, my grandma quilted and I want to continue that. You know, I don't want it to be lost in our family. So that is super cool. So last week, the person who answered the question and we'll get this. Yay, this super cute layer cake. That was Peggy Alley, and I will email Peggy. But she said that she went from, she had a job where she was in banking, and her brain was always analyzing everything. And she found, I'll just sort of recap her phrasing here. You can read it online then, I'll post it here. But basically what she did is she used quilting to take her outside of her thought process, to get her to focus and look at something else. So she wasn't always constantly analyzing things, that she had something new to think about, because quilting makes you sort of focus in on it, which I just love, because I think a lot of us use that in different ways. Our brain is like a little hamster wheel, right? It just goes, goes, goes. And sometimes we have to totally shut that down and let our mind relax. And to do that, we quilt, because that makes us look at other things. Okay. So for this week, I have this is a bundle I've had for a while, and it is spectacular. It has this gigantic flower and all these other beautiful prints with it. It was called Strawberry, it's called Strawberry Moon. It's an older line, but it's beautiful. And this is a fat quarter bundle. So somebody will win this. And what I want you to do this week is tell me, and tell yourself, do this for yourself, not just for this, do this for yourself. Pick a goal, pick one goal to work on, because I'm thinking we need that. We need that as a community, we need that as our neighborhood, as a person. Pick a goal and say it out loud. And then maybe every so often, tell me if you like this idea, but maybe every so often we should check in on our goals. How are we doing? So if your goal is, I need to do one UFO a month, if you want to do a sewing one, or your goal is, I need to get up, I need to walk every day, or I need to get up and move around. I need to put in my pedometer and get 5,000 steps. And my goal will get to 5,000 or get to 10,000, whatever your goal. So tell me your goal, and then whoever did will win this bundle of Strawberry Moon, which is just beautiful. And I want to thank you for supporting my small family business. Greg and I thank you for using all of our links when you do your shopping, because that supports us, helping you do your quilting as your hobby, and supports our business. And we really, really appreciate everything that you do. And we are so pleased you're here. Come along and join me online for my neighborhood at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan at Facebook. If you're on Instagram, I'm Quilter Pat Sloan. And I will see you next week, but we will be, next Sunday is Easter. So I will either do this Saturday or Monday, depending on how my week goes. So next week, it'll be on a different day. So this has been, this has been super fun. Hope I don't dump that on the floor. And have a great week. Don't forget to sew. I'm Pat.